So I wanted to tell you a little bit about Rich. Rich, Rich brings really good beer to the house, and and he and he and he helps me get my computers working. And lately, even he's been bringing like designer pickles. But you know, he's just an extremely thoughtful guy, and anybody that watched that um ceremony today could see what goes on with Rich. And when he gets near and dear to somebody, it gets to be pretty powerful for him. And I couldn't be happier. Um, and before I ever met Rich, I kind of knew what kind of a guy he was because Julie told us the story about how he asked for a second date. He sent to the where do you work? To the salon, to Colors Salon, a DVD and a little card that was asking for a second date, and the DVD was Julie's favorite movie that she'd mentioned on the first date. And the girls at the salon were like, "Oh my God! Oh, you got to call him. This is like a movie. You have to call him." Well, she did. And I can tell you that I have never seen Julie more like herself than she is when she's with Rich. And Julie, when she's herself, is as delightful of a person as I've ever known in my life. And I could tell stories and keep you all here till Wednesday, but I'm a kind person and I'm not going to do that. So, let's see, what's this next note here? Oh yeah, they are truly a special couple. I mean, the ceremony today just knocked me off my socks, or out of my socks, um, and the emotion, the moment when they both reach for their handkerchiefs and wipe their eyes at the same time. I don't know that I've ever seen that before. And this kind of event, for me, when Julie and Rich called us in December and said that they were going to get married, it was like, oh, cool. And then, and it's like, it registers like logically, but emotionally, it doesn't register for a while for me. And so, I mean, I was writing checks and meeting new people and going through and going through lots of steps, working up to this wedding. And I'm like, I'm thinking this is a big deal. This is my daughter getting married, and this is a really big deal. And I'm thinking about it, but it's like there's certain moments when you hear about the tsunami coming, but you don't really believe it until you're standing there and it's like washing over you and knocking you on your ass. So, one of the moments came at a very odd time. Jane and I were in New York City a while ago, and we were at Tim Meyer's restaurant. And Tim is an old friend of Julie's, and they've been friends for a long, long time, traveled together on shows and stuff like that. And Tim was like, "Man, isn't this great? Julie's getting married." And he said, "As long as I've known Julie, she's been planning her wedding day." And I and I'm and it hit me, because these guys took off and started planning this thing back in January, I think, and it was like a ton of work and lots of stress and lots of meetings and lots of organization to get it to work. And I'm kind of standing there, with my sort of left brain wondering, why would anybody go through all of this for one day? Until Tim said, Julie's been planning this wedding since she was born. And then it's like, oh, that's why. And then the next moment when I realized I was going to get hit by a tsunami was, or I didn't realize it before it happened. It was like it was already over me. And Julie and I were standing at the rehearsal yesterday, and she put her hand on my arm, and we walked down the aisle, and they said, okay, pause there. And we paused there, and there was just a handful of people there, but they were all looking at us, and we started walking down the aisle together, and it was just one of those moments that just, I'm like, this is it. This is happening now. And I got down there and kissed my daughter on the cheek, gave her hand to Rich, and the guy said, okay, sit down. And and that was the next moment that just registered at an emotional level, like very deep emotional level, that something really important is happening. And then last night at the Rio, and we had all these people here, and I was looking around at them, and I knew probably half of them, and I'm thinking about it, and it's like, all these people in this room, one moment tomorrow afternoon, one event, in a very small moment, I'm going to be connected to all of these people in a very deep and profound way. And you know, it's like, it's great to know that I have all these places all over the country where I can show up on these doorsteps and have a place to stay. I can't believe it. And so thank you, Julie and Rich. You know, this is like a door open for me. You know, it's like wonderful. So anyway, I would like to suggest that we raise a glass. I left mine over there, but maybe I'll just, oh, okay. You got something? Let's raise a glass to Julie and Rich and all the people that made so much effort to get here. Thank you very much.